This video will be about today's date, November 28th, 2023, the day our lives changed forever and the days and nights shortly thereafter. As of this morning, we've started day 3 of buckwheat trying to get Billy's Dodge Dually to start up out in the driveway. And while he's outside working on that, me, Robbie, and Tanner are working on Billy's S10 in the shop, finishing up putting the engine in the truck and getting the truck cleaned up for PRI. This will be the first time that Billy's ever had anything put on display at the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in Indianapolis. His S10 will be showcased in the Melling Performance Parts booth, similar to the way my Malibu was put on display last year with Nitrous Express. Although the Malibu isn't headed to PRI this year, it has a job much more important. Our lives have revolved around drag racing and race cars for the last 30 years, and my boys grew up racing at the local track just down the road from our house, National Trail Raceway. But as Billy got older, his attention turned more to testing on the road behind the track, as his primary focus changed from racing at the track to street racing. His YouTube channel grew, and so did the number of his cars, which led to him renting additional shop space on West Main Street in Newark, just a few blocks away from Licking Memorial Hospital, which is exactly where I'm headed to in the Malibu this afternoon. At this point, Vicky, Billy, and Molly have all been here since last night. You see, earlier in the day yesterday, Molly had a doctor's appointment, and her doctor advised her that they would like to take her to the hospital and begin induced labor. Now, obviously, this was a shock to all of us. Up until this point, everyone thought we had 2 or 3 weeks left to prepare for the baby to be born. But Molly's doctors had some concerns about the baby's growth over the last week and a half. And so the decision was made last night to have her brought into the hospital yesterday to induce her labor. And it's just been a waiting game ever since. What do you think?
I'm ready.
You've been ready since last night.
Yes. So, we got news today. Surprising news that Wyatt is going to be coming about 3 weeks early. So, we are at the hospital and I'm going to stay the night. Bill's going to drop me off and say hello and go home and work on his video, but I'm going to stay here for the duration.
So Vicky and Billy have been at the hospital since last night. Allison even came down to help Molly braid her hair and to help ease her anxiety over the waiting game that we're all taking part in.
I thought that we were going to have a baby by lunchtime. I was wrong.
Molly's doctor came in and assured us that it would probably be another 12 hours before the baby would be born. The doctor convinced us that there would be plenty of time for me to take Vicky home so she could get a little nap, take a shower, and come back ready to go, likely around 5 a.m. So we went back to the house and got a phone call. Billy explained that he went down to the cafeteria to get something to eat and got a phone call of his own. He'd only been gone from the room for 30 minutes, and he just barely made it back to Molly's room before Wyatt was born. I got to hold him first.
I know.
About an hour after Wyatt was born, he was moved to room 350. A fitting room number, considering the circumstances. Room 351 was open too. I feel like Wyatt was just born to be a Chevrolet baby. He's definitely lightweight, weighing 5 pounds, 8 ounces, with just the cutest little face, and everyone was eager to get his attention. What's going on in there?
Oh, he started squeaming around, and we thought he was going to open his eyes, and we all got up, and we're like, he's finally going to open his eyes, and 4 fat heads are just like...
Billy got to hold him first, then me, then Vicky, then Allison, and finally, Uncle Tommy. See, you've made him mad already. You have the same effect on me, Thomas. Since little Wyatt was born 3 weeks early, he and Molly are going to be at the hospital for the next 2 or 3 days for observation. So while Billy and Molly are stationed at Licking Memorial Hospital, for the time being, it's business as usual back at the shop. Allison has found a way to streamline the shipping operations for the 427 merch, and we've got Billy's S10 all cleaned up and ready for the PRI show. Well. You've been busy.
I have.
This thing's almost ready to come out, isn't it?
Yeah, guys coming to get it Saturday, so gotta get it out, get it ready for them.
You gotta take the 55 up to the House of Pearls too.
Yep, I'm excited for that.
So while Tanner's working on pulling the engine out of my Nova in the shop, I fired up the 55 and pulled it out front to let it warm up. I can't wait to finally drop this thing off at House of Pearls to get the paint taken care of. Before we left with the car, we took the hood off the Nova so that Robbie could finish pulling the engine out while Tanner and I were gone. And then finally it was time to hit the road in the 55 and head north towards House of Pearls. Although it's bitter cold today, the 55 has nice warm heat thanks to the vintage air unit that'll make the drive up there this morning much more enjoyable, especially given the fact that this will be the last time anyone gets to drive this car until next summer. We've spent most of this last year getting the drivetrain and suspension systems all rebuilt, adding power steering, tilt wheel, air conditioning, disc brakes front and rear, a brand new GM 400 cubic inch small block Chevy short block with trick flow double hump casting heads, an Isky hydraulic roller camshaft, a complete MSD ignition system, a brand new 750 gas ATM carburetor, a brand new set of Krager wheels, brand new tires front and rear, and a new Tremec TKX 5-speed overdrive transmission. The 55 now literally drives like a brand new car. The next step is to make it look like one. So today's the day we drop it off at House of Pearls, where I have full confidence the car and all of its parts will be in safe hands. Paul and Nikki had me pull the car straight in the shop and we went over it front to back, going over all the details for both the exterior and the interior. And then Paul and I went to the paint booth out back to look at Billy's S10 hood. So what are your thoughts on that hood? It's pretty nice, isn't it?
This one?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, for being a fiberglass hood, most of the time, especially when they're this thin, they're just wavy and ripply as hell. And this is very straight. It feels like a normal panel when you actually feel it, but it's just crazy light. Like I've just been carrying this thing around the shop, and I'm not the strongest guy in the world.
Yeah, usually an ultra lightweight hood, the quality is just not very good.
Yeah.
But this thing actually fits, like all the body lines lined up really nice. Yep. And when you started to sand on it, you're like, wow, this thing's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, that's what I was, it looked like it fit really good from the pictures. I didn't see it on the truck. I was curious about that, so it does fit really good too.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. It's got a brace, like a gel, like a resin brace underneath of it to give it more structure. So I think that's why it doesn't feel so crappy and flimsy, because like you can hold it on one side and kind of like it's
really good quality hood.
It's thin, but you would think that it would be, you could just snap it in half, but it doesn't feel like that. Like it feels like a nice fit.
So when are you planning on shooting the hood?
Probably right now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right, well, I better get out of here and let you get back to work.
All good. I already got I dialed my color in. I got a real good match with that. I'm happy with it. So, yeah, probably today.
All right. Thanks, Paul.
Of course. Thank you.
After dropping the 55 off, I came back to the shop to help the boys get ready to bring the Falcon into the main shop and put it on the lift. While Tanner and I were gone today up at House of Pearls, Robbie managed to get the 427 completely removed out of my Nova and set on a cradle for the winter to pick up this Saturday. In the meantime, we need to check out a problem that the Falcon's been having with a vibration coming from either the transmission or the torque converter. While we've got that going on in the shop, Addie and her dad stopped by to pick up her Malibu. While they were here, we had them help us push and steer my Nova from out front into the back part of the shop. Addie was just excited that she was the one that got to steer. Well, happy birthday, kid.
Thank you.
You're 15 now?
Yeah.
So this summer you'll be on your permit.
Yep.
Hell on wheels.
Yep.
I don't know, is she allowed to test someplace with a permit or?
That's what we're hoping. That's what everybody's saying.
We'll find something.
Okay.
So that brings us to Thursday morning. We're hoping that Wyatt gets to come home from the hospital today. All right, everybody, so it is Thursday morning, and the plan for today is we're going to go ahead and try and get this transmission pulled out of the Falcon, and Tanner's going to run it up to Dion in Alliance, Vickers Performance Transmissions, and Dion's going to send the converter up to Bubba Rafferty to have him check it out. And so once we get the Falcon down off the lift, We need to bring the little blue S10 inside so we can make some engine tie downs, engine limiters for it. Also some boost reference tubes for the carburetor. So while me and Tanner are working in the shop on the Falcon pulling the transmission out, Buckwheat's back to work on the Cummins again. Well, 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 look who it is.
Yep.
Day 5 of parts tossing at the Dodge to see if you can get it to
I
start.
haven't tossed any parts at the Dodge.
He's been down at Mark's this morning harassing the guys down there, buying parts that I don't think it needs.
Watching you guys like watching a pair of hyenas.
For some reason, Jeremy has it in his head that the problem is with the batteries.
When's the last time you seen a Napa battery last that long? It's a Napa.
If indeed there is a battery problem, it probably stems from him leaving the hood up.
When's the last time you seen a Napa battery ever 4 years old?
You think that thing's gonna start when you put batteries in it?
I hope.
So he puts a new set of batteries in the truck and goes out to crank on it once again. With yet again the same result. So now what, Wile E. Coyote super genius?
I don't know, but why is it every time you touch something it's injected? It either blows up or it doesn't run.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was standing out here last night working on a thing and it sounded like the barn about exploded out there.
That was this pile of shit.
It doesn't sound like that when Tommy starts it.
I had to ether it. Somehow when Jeremy's diagnosis goes sideways, it's always someone else's fault. More often than not, it's blamed on me.
You got something to do.
I had Buckwheat move his fire truck out of the way so we could back Tanner's truck up to the shop and load up the Power Glide that's headed to Dion's. Then we plan on backing the Falcon out, sending Tanner up to Dion's with the transmission. And then Robbie's gonna bring the little blue S10 back up to the main shop so we can work on it. We managed to get the bowl vent extensions installed in the carburetor, and then my contractor showed up to hang gutters on the new shop. I had made a post on Facebook asking for referrals for gutter work, and I ended up getting, of all things, a Jimmy Daler. Ever since we got the roof put on the shop, the drip edge has been making a mess and splashing mud on the porch. So I reached out to Brandon Sullivan to come up and hang new 6-inch gutters on both the front and rear of the barn and run downspouts. Just as those guys are getting started on the gutters, I hear the Dodge fire up. Well, Wile E. Coyote, what was it?
Lack of maintenance.
It wasn't the batteries, was it?
No, it wasn't the batteries, but the batteries were weak. It does crank over way nicer now.
It turns out there was ice in the fuel rail on the Dodge that kept it from starting. Regardless, it's up and running now, but I don't know how long that starter's gonna last. You put a new starter on that Dodge while you're at it?
Nope.
That's the only thing you didn't replace.
Operates. I didn't replace anything except for batteries.
Yeah, but you burnt the starter up trying to get it started.
Burning the starter.
Robbie.
Oh, left it to you guys had been burned up, caught on fire, and the truck would be smoldering ashes out there. It still wouldn't start.
Robbie said that starter sounds like the Whitakers down in West Virginia. Tell him, Robbie.
I got a new nickname for your son. I'm gonna start calling him Camel.
Camel?
Because he likes to store a whole shitload of water in his tank.
At this point, I'm just thankful we're making progress and the Dodge is back up and running. Now that Buckwheat's out of my hair and he's out for a test drive, I went in the shop and got the dogs to go out and check on the guys working on my gutters. It's a pretty interesting setup. They've got this machine in a trailer that forms one-piece seamless gutters, whatever length you need, out of a roll of raw material in the trailer. So y'all done out there?
Yeah, we got it all put up out there.
Is it gonna drain right?
I hope so.
Where are you from, man? You're from Kentucky, right?
Yeah, from Kentucky, down in Sparta, Kentucky,
Yep.
by the Kentucky Speedway.
Yep. I appreciate you coming up here, man. You guys did a nice job.
I appreciate it.
You do roofing and gutters, right?
Roofing and gutters.
What's your name? Dakota?
Dakota Salt. Like a Ricky Bobby.
It is.
Everything ended up fine.
Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. After Dakota and his guys got done working on my gutters, I got a text message from up at House of Pearls, letting me know that Billy's hood for his Sub-Zero S10 is ready to be picked up. So me and June Pup made the trip up in Vicky's Suburban to check it out.
I I overthink things. That's why that Jeep's sitting on the side of the shop.
I've heard that about him.
Yeah, he is like that. I'm just scared about fiberglass. Fiberglass scares me every time.
It's so
It's
light.
easy to crack.
Nah. Thank you, guys.
And
Appreciate it. Dude, it looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
So
The
it's
color
gonna look
match
even
is
better
perfect.
when Nikki does her thing on it, that's when it
All right.
really old. So that's right out of the booth. It's still got a little bit of texture and a couple little specks, but it'll be perfect when she's done.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
So once we had the hood secured in the back of the Suburban, me and June Pup head back towards our shop, where Robbie's waiting on me to set the hood on the truck to see how well the paint matches. And to my surprise, Tanner had already made it back from taking that transmission up to Dion's. Anyway, I backed the Suburban up in front of the shop, and Robbie and Tanner unloaded the hood and set it on the truck for the first time. The paint match is absolutely perfect, and Robbie FaceTimed Billy at the hospital to let him see it. And that's when I got word it was time for me and Vicky to head to the hospital. Growing up, I can remember my mom telling me stories about the day I was born and how excited everybody was. I never truly understood that excitement until today. Over the years, I can't count the number of times that my mom told me the story over and over about how I got to come home from the hospital in Mom and Dad's 64 Malibu Super Sport. I'd give anything to hear her tell that story one more time today. She's no longer here, and I won't always be here to tell the story to my grandson, so I figured I'd do the next best thing. So here we are. This is the story of how my first grandson, Wyatt Lee, got to come home from the hospital in my Malibu. I wish I could find Mom and Dad's old Malibu that I came home from the hospital in, and I wish that Vicky and I had never sold the green Nova that Billy came home from the hospital in. So in order to make sure that Wyatt never has to feel this way, I'm going to make sure that this car never leaves the family. I told the nurses when we came out of the hospital to put him in the Malibu that Wyatt's only 2 days old, but he's already got his first car.